Well, it's the first race of the Formula 2 season. We've got Leclerc up in 6th place and Joey Mawson somewhere right near the back. I don't even care about him, to be honest. He's already annoyed me this season. It's all on Leclerc. Get some points, buddy. Please. Hello, welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of Race to the Top. I'm Ian, and in today's episode we do have the Dubai GP, which is the first race of the Formula 2 season. It's a bit of a mixed bag for us because we've got Charles Leclerc up in 6th place and Joey Mawson all the way down in 17th. We do have some race trim, and because Joey Mawson's been with his mechanic for quite some time, his car condition doesn't drop as quick as normal. Charles Leclerc has got the race trim, so that's important. In terms of driver strategy then, I don't really know what the best course of action is. I think we're going to put Mawson onto the hard tyres, but then if we go to the mediums could potentially last the race, and I think we may go the mediums just because he is 17th, and I don't think the hard tyres are going to last 46 laps. I just don't think they will somehow, but it's a tricky one, isn't it? I mean, I think for Leclerc, we're going to have to put him on the softs, I think, because he needs to stay up there. But then that could cost us. So I really don't know what everyone else is going to do. So I think I might put Mawson onto the hards. We'll confirm that. And I think with Leclerc, we'll keep him on the softs. But if everyone's going hards, then Leclerc could completely stuff his race up by having him start on the softs. We'll just have to wait and see, because I don't know. If everyone else is going on the hards, then we're in real trouble. But let's go and have a look at the grid then. So we've got Gustav Malya in pole position ahead of Marcus Winkelhock and his teammate Pascal Wehrlein in 3rd for Sauber Motorsport. Matsushita is next to him in 4th. Then you've got Rubens Barrichello with Charles Leclerc in 6th place. And on the 4th row, you've got Ralph Boschung, is that how you say his name, with Antoine Hubert in 8th place. Then you've got Montero in 9th with Oliver Rowland in 10th. Watch out for him, he's a young up-and-comer. Frank Stippler in 11th with Mazepin in 12th. On the 7th row, you've got Lucia Giotto with Nabil Jeffrey in 14th place for the Malaysian. In the 8th row, we got Jordan King with Nicholas Latifi, with a Canadian. I didn't realise we had a Canadian on the grid. Joey Mawson in 17th place with Alexander Albon next to him. And at the back of row, we have Kevin Jorg with Alessio Lorandi. And it looks like we've got a bit of a mix. We've got quite a few people starting on hards, mediums. There you go, Jordan King on softs. It looks like people are going to be stretching out the race, but it does look like everyone in that front is starting on the softs. So Leclerc starting on the softs was the right choice. And it does seem as though people at the back of the grid are going to be starting on the harder compounds to try and go as long as they can. But we will get into the race then. So we're going to focus on Leclerc rather than Mawson, because Mawson's right at the back of the grid. So you'll have to watch Mawson yourself as it's lights out for Season 2. Leclerc gets off very, very poorly. No, he gets off well. I was looking at the wrong car there. He's moved up into 5th place. He's just holding off on Hubert. And who's that if he got over in front as well? He had Matsushita, but Matsushita managed to hold off with the inside line. And Barrichello as well did very, very well to hold off. And Leclerc has now pulled a bit away from Hubert, so he's held 6th place. Mawson's moved up to 15th as well, but Leclerc's battling bravely because he's managed to get in front of Barrichello. He's fighting Matsushita again. Can he get 4th place? He does. He's got that straight line speed, and he just gets off. That's the two Saubers battling away in front of him, so that'll be interesting to see if we can keep up with them, as Joey Mawson's moved up to 14th, but he has just dropped back to 15th now, and we are desperately trying to hold on, as it looks like Mawson's just got a ton of cars all around him, but Leclerc is holding off in 4th place, and he's having a real look. He's right up the tailpipe of Winkelhock. Can he do anything? We're going to back them off just a little bit on the driving style, maybe. No, we might hold off a little while, because we're not doing too badly with the tyre wear for Mawson, the tyre temperature, I should say. As Leclerc is having another look at Winkelhock. He has the inside line, but he's just a bit too far behind, and he's going to have to back off, and we are going to have to back him off a touch now, because as you can see, those tyre temperatures are climbing quite high on those soft tyres. It is very, very hot today. It's 27 degrees, as Mawson's battling away in 15th place, but I'm only caring about Leclerc at the moment. And who's that who's having a look? Hubert has a look and gets in front of a couple of cars, And Leclerc is now holding off from Matsushita, who looks like he's got a better straight line speed this time. But Leclerc is holding on. He's going to have that inside line, and he just squeezes in front of him. That's huge, as Mawson maintains 16th place now, but he's right behind Latifi, and he's battling bravely from Jorg as well, who's just behind him. But we are holding off 5th place, Leclerc. That's really, really good, as Mawson's moved up to 15th place now. He's about half a second behind Mazepin, but this is who we care about. Leclerc. This is the man of the moment. This is the one that's going to win us some points. As you can see, we stand to gain 10 points with him at the moment, but we will have to start backing them off a little bit now. Let's start lowering their fuel consumption a touch, just because I don't want them to be going into too much fuel saving. Particularly Mawson. I think with these tyre temperatures, we could potentially see Mawson going the whole race. He may have to pit a bit towards the end, possibly. But Leclerc, I'm sort of expecting him to drop down the field a little bit. Whether this pace is sustainable, we'll just have to wait and see. I don't think it is somehow, because our car seems like it's a bit trash. As Barrichello is having another look in that really striking orange and yellow car. That's a really cool... Is it red? No, I think it might be red. It looks orange from a bit further back, but that's a really cool looking car. And I kind of think our livery is a bit boring. I should have gone for slightly better colours. But we are holding off 5th place, as Mawson's also doing quite well in 15th. It looks like he's sort of held that one. This is going to be really, really tight racing. Look, we'll speed things up a bit now. We're 3 laps into this race, and last place is only 11.5 seconds behind. That's not a great deal. That's because it's all spec parts. So, you can expect to see some really tight racing this year. We're not going to be seeing, the field stretching out too much. And I will just pull out a fraction just so you can see a bit more of the action going on. But at the moment, Mawson's tyre temperatures are still climbing, and so's Leclerc's as well. We're going to have to back him off quite a lot. What's everyone else doing? Everyone else is sort of on a backing off as well. Mawson's fighting with Giotto there. But look at all these cars. It's just a big train of cars, isn't it? It's unbelievable. But tyre temperatures, maintaining these tyre temperatures is going to be really, really difficult, as Leclerc's a bit out on his own now. 4th place Hubert's pulled away. He's got a second lead. But Barrichello is a second behind Leclerc, and he's got some cars for company. He's got Matsushita and Bouchon. I'm going to have to look that up. I don't know how you say that now. I'm going to say Bouchon, but I'm guessing. So if I'm saying that wrong, then please forgive me. But Leclerc sitting in 5th place is right where, look, I'm happy with that, because remember, he started the race in 6th, so, I expected him to be falling further back, as Mawson's having a look at Mazepin now, but he's a bit too far back from Mazepin to have a good look. So we're going to have to keep an eye on Mazepin. We've really got to look at the time set, as Joey Mawson has crashed. Unbelievable. So what do we do now? Do we pit Charles Leclerc or not? I don't know. I'm going to ignore that for now. So at least we only have to focus on one car now. Unbelievable. I was watching. Let's see what Malia does. And if he dives into the pits, which he's not doing, so no one's going to pit, so we can back these cars right up. We've got 1 lap to go on the safety car. So what I'll do is I'm going to be able to do that replay again. That was really cool. Because last time I did it with Falqueira, remember? Because he was sort of in the back and we didn't quite see him. I'm going to do that replay again. I actually focused on Mawson and we watched him crash into a wall, which... I mean, that's my fault. Maybe he got distracted because he saw my mouse flying in front of him or something. But that's a disaster. I mean, not that Mawson was in the points anyway. Let's be realistic now. Mawson was right the way back. I mean, where was he? 15th, 14th. He was battling hard. But the fact that there was an outside chance he may have scored a point. And unfortunately, the other problem as well is the fact that he's on hards. We don't really know how long the hards would have lasted, because a lot of these other cars are all going to have to pit now, and that's sort of bringing the race back into them. As there he is there. Let's have a quick look. There he is. You Burke. The car's shaking. I'm shaking with rage, buddy. You should be shaking. Yeah, give your teammate a wave, Charles, because he is a moron. Maybe I'll have to replace Mawson. I'm not too happy with that. I might just quickly speed this up a little bit so we can get back into the race a little bit quicker, because they've still got to go around another time. So that's not the sort of start to the race that we really wanted, was it? We were expecting something a little bit better there, and we'll just bump up the attack. I think what we'll do is we'll bring up the engine modes and the driving style to max. Actually, no, we'll leave that on low for now. And we will just get those tyre temperatures back up. We've still got to go around one more time. I'm just trying to speed things up a little bit for you guys. Come on. As we go around. So we are getting ready to race again. And as you can see, I've managed to get those tyre temperatures up. And we're almost back to parity now. So Malio's backing everyone up, and he's going to make a break for it. So let's go into attack mode now, and let's see what we can do. As there we go, we're off and racing again. Charles Leclerc holding off 5th place, and we've pulled away a bit from Barrichello, who's a long way behind now. That's great news, and we're having another look at Hubert. As look at how tight this is at the front. Come on, Leclerc. There's Barrichello's just breezed past Leclerc. He had the inside line. We've dropped to 6th now. Disaster for us. But we are going to play the long game on these soft tyres. So, I mean, I don't really know what to talk about now because we've only got one car to focus on. So this is going to be a bit of a boring race. We're just going to try and score as many points as we can and just hope for the best. So the idea is we're doing all right with the tyre wear. As you can see, Leclerc's he's at 75%. But everyone except Winkelhock is at the same or less than us. See, Verline's similar to us. Winkelhock's now the same. Malia, who's out in front, he's burning through his softs quite quickly. So we could, in theory, bump up our tyre wear, our aggression, our driving style. Just because we want to hold off because Matsushita's right behind. So he's just been overtaken by Bouchon. We don't want to be dropping too many places. We want to score as many points as we can. Now that we know Mawson's out of the race, we have only got one car that can score. And one of the big things with Motorsport Manager, it does seem like that only one car ever retires from each race. You never really get like 2 or 3. They seem to have fixed it, a few sort of months ago, and then now that with a recent patch, it seems to be going back to amazing reliability again. So we have got 33 laps remaining. We're holding on to 6th place, and we are going to have to start looking at pitting soon. As Charles Leclerc's doing very well with his tyre wear. He's only at 71%. But he really wants to get in front of Barrichello, but he's not close enough. I don't want to start upping his fuel until he's right behind him, and then he can have a look, because he seems to do all right on these long straights, as Bouchon seems to have caught up quite quickly there on that long back straight. And then we get these tight little chicane, these tight corners. It's really, really difficult to get in front of cars on these tight corners. But look, I think as we stand at the moment, like you got to look out for drivers like Montero, who's on the mediums, and he's about a second behind Matsushita. But the fact he can probably go most of the race, he will drop onto the softs. But these people on the hard tyres, they might be able to go the whole race. It might be doable. Now that safety cars come in, they could have backed off quite a lot, and they're not going to be getting as much tyre wear. So I'm going to be very, very keen to see where people like Jeffrey Giotto are going to come out, once the sort of first lot of pit stops are done, because of course if they're going to be conserving, they should be quite easy pickings, when these people on the softs come back out onto the track from pitting, because they're going to be on fresh tyres and they just should be able to breeze past them, whether they go onto the mediums or the softs, whatever the case may be. But we're quite happy as we are in 6th place at the moment, as you got Bouchon and Matsushita battling away behind us, and we're just trying to sort of cruise at the moment. We don't want to be pushing the engine too much here. Let's go keep an eye on the condition of the car, because as you can see, the gearbox is at 52%. We haven't got our reliability up a great deal. So I'd be really keen to find out exactly what happened to Mawson that caused him to crash, because it looks like it was basically a totaled car by the looks of it. There's a lot of work to be done when we get back from Dubai, but get back to the factory. We're going to have a lot of work to do on Mawson's car, which is a shame. And I think what you'll find is any sort of upgraded parts and that sort of thing, they're going on Leclerc's car, because if this race weekend's anything to go by, he's absolutely carved it up over Mawson. I just don't know what to say about Mawson. The fact that he was doing so well. He gained a couple of places, and then it all just went wrong for him. I don't know whether that's sort of his inexperience, because he's not as talented as Leclerc, or whether it was like a condition failure, a part failure or something like that. We'll just have to wait and see. But Bouchon now, Ralph, I call him Ralph because I don't know how to say his surname. Ralph is right behind us in 7th place. We're going to bump up his driving style just a little bit, because we want to sort of pull away a fraction from Bouchon, who's not doing too badly with his tyre wear either. So that's why we don't want him to get in front. There could be a potential undercut here. That's why we want to sort of build a bit of a lead over him, because he's going to be probably pitting around the same time as us, but they might decide to go for it and pit one lap earlier, and then they've got a potential undercut. And that's something that we could look at doing as well, but we're starting to fall off. We're 1.5 seconds behind Barrichello now, and I think I don't know how long. Let's have a quick look at how long the mediums last. So the mediums last 41 to 43 laps. So we could easily pit now and go on to the mediums and get a potential undercut. So I tell you what we can do. Let's go into push mode, because you've got people like Mawson. They're going to be pitting soon anyway. And I think if we can get right up behind Barrichello, because we've got better tyres there, so we can afford to burn through our softs a little bit. And if we can get right behind Barrichello, then we can have a look at a potential undercut. Maybe. I mean, it's going to be a hard ask, but as you can see, we're starting to close down a little bit now. We're 1.1 seconds. We were 1.5 seconds before. So the more we close up that gap to Barrichello, then look, we're exactly a second behind now. We are really, really closing in on him. We're having a real good look here. Because Barrichello's tyres, he's burning through those tyres because he's been stuck behind Hubert for quite a number of laps, and we've dragged Ralph right along with us. But this is where a potential undercut can really work for us. Let's try and get as close as we can. We're within half a second now, and we can go around. Let's go into attack mode for the driving style. And look, if we can't get past Barrichello on this lap, maybe the next, we're going to have to start looking at pitting and doing a potential undercut, which can really, really work in our favour, because we're very, very close to Hubert now. We're only a second behind Hubert in 4th place. So a potential undercut could really work. And I think if we keep the tyre, we're going to be burning through these tyres, but as you can see, Leclerc is just clinging onto these two in front. He's about half a second behind. That's all you really need for a potential undercut. He's having a sniff. Leclerc is attempting to overtake, so he's having a little look, but nothing yet. And he's getting a little stuck, isn't he? He can't really do anything. So I think what we do is he's going to have a look. He had a look on the inside. He's right behind him, but he can't do anything just yet. And he's going to have another look as he knows he's not, and he holds off. So he's going to have another chance here. We've got a bit of a sweeping lefter, but he can't do anything. He's falling away a little bit now, and he's back to 7/10. So that first sector was at the sort of beginning of the second sector, really starting to cost us. So let's go to pit, and let's see if we can do any sort of undercut. This is going to be really, really important for us. I didn't actually see where he's due to come out, but he should be right at the back anyway, which may mean this potential undercut could work for us. And we're going to go into overtake mode. Let's get as close as we can. And here we go. What can Leclerc do? We need a good pit stop, guys. No stuff-ups. And it was a good stop. Now we need to get a really good exit, and we seem to do it very well. Now we need to push as hard as we can for a few laps. Let's get right. We're going to get right onto the tail of King in 19th place, and he's on the soft tyres, so expect to see him sort of pitting as well. But this is the person that we're watching, remember. We want to see Barrichello. Now, Hubert's most likely going to pit as well, so that could be crucial for us. We could see Hubert behind us. Maybe not Barrichello, but we could see Hubert behind us, because it may see Hubert pitting, and there's confirmation. He's going to pit. What about Barrichello? No, Barrichello is staying out. So, watch the mini-map now. You've got Hubert who's just coming in now. This may work for us. It may not. This is going to be interesting. Does it work? Oh, no, it doesn't. There he is right in front of us. In 18th place is Hubert. But we've had a look on the inside, and we're just having a look. We've got the inside line again, and we've moved up to 18th place. That's what we want to see. That is what we want to see. And we are climbing through the field now. We've got some of these back markers who are going to be holding us up a little bit. But the fact that we've got in front of Hubert is quite crucial. And Hubert's having a look as we've done really, really poorly. And there's another yellow flag in Sector 3. Winkelhock has crashed. If you'll believe that, he was in second place. But there is no safety car. So there you go. I spoke too soon about there being any sort of potential, only having one car ever retiring, because we've now seen two cars retire. Winkelhock, of all people, has crashed, but no safety car has come in, and we are battling away with Hubert there, and we're going to have to start backing off a little bit, aren't we, because these tyre temperatures are climbing ferociously. So we are going to be holding off now for the rest of the race. We've got 23 laps to go, and we're 23 seconds behind. Barrichello's got a 5.4 second deficit to Verline, so that means he's, what's that, about 18 seconds ahead? That's I don't think that's good enough. Verline's going to be able to go around. Barrichello has gone into the pits. There's Barrichello. He is pitted, but he's going to more than likely come out ahead of us. And there he goes. He does come out. There he is up there. Just gone on behind the timing screen there. So that didn't work out for us, as we are, what's that? We're 1.8 seconds behind. I think King has just held us up a little bit on these soft tyres. So the fact that some of these guys are going to be able to go the whole race, I think, on the hard tyres, the race may come back to us yet, because they are going to have to be backing off where we don't have to quite as much. So look, we might be able to pick up a couple of points on this, just because it all hinges on some of these people on the hards. For instance, like Jeffrey, Giotto, they're about, what's that? Oh, well, Jeffrey, for instance, he's about 10 seconds behind, as a couple of people have dived into the pits now. Bouchung has pitted, and he's come out a long way behind, but he's gone onto the hard tyres. That's a poor strategy decision by him. I don't know what team he races for. I don't think we will ever find out either. We will find out at the end of the race who he races for. But I think that's a bad decision by his team to be coming out onto the hards. Now, behind us is King. Now, King is pitting, so we're up into 14th place. And we do have Verline pitting as well. Now, he will come out ahead of us. There's no denying that, as we are about to be overtaken by King, who's racing on terribly worn soft, as Hubert's having a look as well. But we just hold off. So King's going to be diving into the pitch, which is going to give us a bit of clean air. There he goes there. So we're remaining in 14th place. And what can we do from 14th place? Because Latifi's probably going to have to pit. So's Jorg. You got Stippler who needs to pit. Roland might be a little bit far away from us, potentially. This is going to be really, really tight. We're defending 14th place. You got Matsushita and Hubert battling away. So Hubert was the big loser out of all of this. Maybe Bouchung as well. But as you can see, because they're battling away, they're burning through their tyres quite quickly. Whereas we're not. So Hubert, for instance, he pitted after us, and his tyres are a bit more worn. So that's promising for us. If we can just maintain this sort of pace towards the end of the race, we may be able to have a look at overtaking some of these other cars on the hard tyres. But going on the hards for the entire race is a good idea. So Verline has pitted, and he came out in second place. He's only 2 seconds behind Montero, who hasn't pitted yet. So Verline will almost certainly regain the lead as soon as Montero dives into the pits, if he doesn't overtake him beforehand, because he's closing down at a rate of knots here. But we're clinging on to 14th place. So I think a net gain is... We should just go into the points, because you've got Latifi who's going to have to pit and Jorg who's going to have to pit. So that puts us up to 12th. And then you've got, say, Stippler, who's only, 6 seconds up the road. He's probably going to have to pit as well. So we may, and of course then you've got Roland on top of that. So we may be able to just about do something. We are going to bump up our driving style a little bit, because we really need to get in front of Latifi now. The quicker we do that, the better. So then when he pits, we don't have to worry too much, because he's going to hold us up as we're having a look. And there we go. So we've managed to get past him. That's a great move by Leclerc, but we have to hold on to it, because Latifi's coming back along that back straight. But we just about hang on. Latifi's not giving up just yet, and we've given that position back. That was poor work from Leclerc there through those that tight chicane section. We could have done a lot better than that. And we've got to be mindful of the fuel as well, because that's still half a lap deficit, as we're clinging on from Matsushita behind us now in 14th place. So maybe going onto the hard tyres at the start of the race probably was the better option. But that's at the moment. I mean, once this race comes to into the sort of final 7 or 8 laps, it'll be interesting to see exactly where everyone ends up. As we have another look on that same corner, we do get in front, but this time Latifi's right there, so we are side by side. Leclerc is on the outside, but this is right where Latifi came back, and he's come back again and again. He holds off, and now we've dropped behind Matsushita. We're fighting hard. We just hold him off, but we should be getting in front of Latifi and holding him. I think if we have another crack, and there we go, we've dropped to 15th, so Matsushita has moved up ahead of us now. That's not what we wanted to see, and Hubert's coming back and having a look as well, and we're clinging on to 15th place. As you can see, Latifi's pulling a big lead from us now. So some of these cars will have to pit soon. Latifi, for instance, is going to pit as we've slipped behind Hubert again. This means that we might not be picking up points in this race. This is not good. This is not good at all. We are just falling away, and you got Bouchung on the hard tyres, and he's caught up to us. This is not what we want to see from our very expensive driver. He's dropped down to 16th place in very, very quick succession. So what do we do now? I think we drop our engine mode a little bit more, I think. Let's try and conserve as much fuel as we can. And let's just try and defend from Ralph, who's right behind us in 17th place. But he's probably going to get in front of us as well. This is not a great race to start the season for us. I'm really disappointed at the moment. We've still got a long way to go. We've got, 14 laps, 15 laps to go. Anything can change. We've still got quite a few people that will need to pit. Latifi's one of them who will be pitting soon. As Latifi's just been overtaken there by Matsushita. And look at that, there's a big gaggle of cars in front of us. Latifi's now dropped to 15th place, so we're going to have a look at overtaking him with 14 laps to go. As we have a look on the inside, we've got real low fuel burn as well, but it doesn't seem like... There we go, there's Leclerc having a look on the inside, and he just holds off from Latifi. Latifi had the inside line there, and we just don't have that power to hold off because we're just not saving much fuel at the moment. But we're not doing too badly in regards... So there, sorry to interrupt myself, but Latifi is pitting. Latifi will be pitting now. So there's been quite a lot of change here. As you can see, quite a few drivers are moving around. We've got that. We've overtaken Latifi. Latifi's slowing right down, isn't he? We've bumped back up to 15th, but you've got Boshung right behind us holding on to our tailpipe, to our rear wing, and he's trying to go on the outside, and he just about gets there. No, he doesn't. We hold off. We almost pushed him off the track, but we do slip to 13th place now as we've had 4 cars all diving into the pits. Look where we could have been. We could have been in the points. If we stayed ahead of Machita, we would have been in the points. But unfortunately, that's not to be. I don't think these people on the hard tyres are going to be able to stay out. Bouchon definitely, of course, but Lorandi will have to pit. Giotto will have to pit. Jeffrey will most likely have to pit as well. And then you've got people like Montero, who's 26 seconds ahead of us. I don't think he's going to come out, on fresh tyres ahead of us, which is a bit disappointing. And then you've got, there's Montero now going into the pits. Roland will most likely have to pit as well. So this could be interesting. Now, here we go. So there's quite a few people diving into the pits. Where do we come out at the end of it? We come out in P9, but this is going to be really, really hard for us to hold off because we are trying to save as much fuel as we can. It's very, very hard to save fuel here by the looks of things. We're really struggling, so I don't know how well we're going to be holding off Roland on fresh softs. There you go, they've blown past us, so we've dropped out of the points now, and I don't think anyone else is going to have to pit again. Maybe Jeffrey. Jeffrey will most likely have to pit again, but I could see him trying to go the whole race, and he's 18 seconds up the road, so I think we may have to settle to be scoring no points today. Devastating. We've got 11 laps to go. We are struggling to save as much fuel as possible. And unless something happened... Now, Jeffrey's pitted. Now, Jeffrey's going to come out way ahead of us by the looks of things. So, Jeffrey's not going to change anything for us. We stay in 11th place. And, unfortunately, our tyres are much more worn than everyone else. Hubert and Matsushita, for instance, their tyre wear's a lot worse than us. But I can't see us reeling them in, despite the fact we are only 2.5-3 seconds away from them. So we may just miss out. I mean, 11th place is a bitter pill to swallow because 10th, you score a point, but 11th, we score nothing. And if we look, then us and MP Motorsport are the only two that don't score if it stays like this. I just don't know what to say. This has been a really, really poor race weekend for us. But as you can see, there's a bit of battling in front of us, Giotto and Roland. I expect Roland to move up the field a little bit. We're trying to stay there, and we are just about there. But I'm mindful because we are still trying to save fuel. That's really hard for us. You can't save fuel on this track by the looks of things. Whether that's our car or whether that's just this track is a real fuel burner. We are clinging on from 12th place ahead of King, who was holding us up. And there's King. King gets past. We drop to 12th now, and his teammate Stippler is right behind us. We are in between the two teammates, and I don't think we're going to be able to hold off Stippler either, and we are going to be backing off even more as we have a look on the inside line, but we don't have enough. We just about hold 12th place, but not for much longer, I don't think. As we have another look, we climb back up into 11th place, but I don't think that's going to last for very long either, as we've got 63% tyre wear. So is King. King's on roughly the same. Let's have a quick look at where King is. King's on 68%, so he's got slightly better tyre wear than us. that could really factor in right at the end of the race, because we're going to try and go the whole race distance now. So is everyone. I don't think anyone's going to be pitting again. We've got 8 laps to go. I mean, Hubert, for instance, he's probably the worst of the lot. He's not going to be pitting again. Verline has got such a lead that he could probably pit for softs yet again and come back out, but I don't think he will. Now, here you go. So Leclerc's already concerned about part condition, and I don't blame him. Look at how poor that is. We might have a double DNF if we pit again, but I just don't want to risk it, because 10th place is just there. We're so tantalisingly close that I don't think I want to have him pit. We really need to improve our reliability over the next sort of couple of races. We could become a dead last, every race if we don't. And I mean, things like Mawson's crash, for instance, that could become a regular thing. We could be seeing a lot of crashes, and I really don't want to see that. We're not doing too badly on the fuel, though. Leclerc may be able to go back up to sort of medium fuel burn eventually, within the next sort of couple of laps or so, which may be able to hold him off from Stippler and King, who's sort of pushing quite hard. Then you got Giotto and Bouchung on the hards in front of us, but they're starting to pull a bit away now. We're, a second and a half behind Giotto, and I don't think we're going to be catching up to him with 6 laps to go. I think Leclerc is going to have to settle for 11th place, which I'm not, I suppose, thinking about it retrospectively, I'm not too disappointed, because after practice, I wasn't expecting anything, and qualifying he did very, very well, but, qualifying is just that one lap, isn't it? It's very difficult to sort of get a good representation. Anyone can pull an amazing lap out of their arse at the end of it. So the fact that, we're sort of mid-table, we're predicted to finish 7th in the championship, I can't see that happening, I'll be brutally honest with you, especially after this performance, as we're still trying to hold off 11th place. We've got minus 0.2, and we're holding on there, so we're going to bump up his fuel burn just a little bit, just to try and hold off Stippler that little bit more, as we're still 1.5 seconds behind Giotto, who's having a look at Bouchung in front of us, and they're battling away, so we need a retirement or a crash in front of us to have any chance, I think, of scoring points. But we are closing down quite a lot. We're 0.8 of a deficit now. 10th place is even closer, because Giotto and Bouchung are battling away, so I think we may just get into the points, but we need a good overtaking manoeuvre, as we are right there with Giotto now. So this is what we do. We're having a look. Nothing yet. We're holding off. We've got to be mindful as well of the tyre wear. It's at 50%. We've got 5 laps to go. We're right up the tailpipe now, so let's go back right up, and let's push him up to high now. Let's see if he can do anything. But he's fallen away, so we might just back him off a touch. We don't want that fuel to go into the deficit. We certainly don't want him to run out of fuel, because that'll be devastating. But if we can get 10th place, that gives us a point. Okay, it's not going to really change our place in the championship. We'll still be 9th, but at least we'll have a point, which will make a big difference, or could make a big difference anyway, at the end of the season. But we are starting to fall away again from Giotto. This isn't promising for us, is it? Because as you can see, Stippler and King are really, really pushing hard. We're not so much. I may sort of bump them up to push. Let's have a look. Now, here we go. We're very, very close. Let's go into overtake mode. Can we do anything? No, we can't. We're going to have to back him off. It looks like we're going to have to back him off. We've got a long straight here where we can close down a little bit, but nothing really, as we've burned through a lot of fuel there. And I think we may have to sort of settle for 11th place, unless something happens, unless we get one final chance where we can really have a go at Giotto. I just don't think we're going to be able to do this, unfortunately. But we're pushing so hard. It's so frustrating to be so close to scoring points, or point. We're certainly not scoring points, plural, but there's 10th. Look how close we are to it. We're only 7/10 down, and we just can't seem to get close at the moment. And we have had to back off a little bit. And unfortunately, I think we're going to be settling for 11th by the looks of things. I can't see anyone. I mean, Hubert's definitely going. Everyone's going the whole race now. No one's going to be pitting again, particularly no one in front of us. Someone behind us may have a look, as Stippler's having another sniff right behind us. So that must be MP Motorsport, who are yet to score points, and it is. So they haven't scored. They're not going to be scoring any points either. So it looks like we're going to be battling with MP Motorsport for the to survive from the relegation spot, which is 10th place. Because as you can see, Stifler's having a real hard go on us. As we come on the inside, we've got a potential for points, and we're going to hold off. We do. Oh my goodness me, I did not expect that. And we're up into 10th place. We have to hold on to that place now. Can we do it? And can Giotto hold off Stifler and let us pull a little bit away? So I'm going to bump him up to medium now, because fuel burn's back to parity, and we look like we're pulling away a little bit from Giotto. We need a perfect last couple of laps from him now. Let's bump him up into full attack mode, because these tyres are going to last this final lap. And we have a very outside chance of scoring a point. We've got Giotto right behind. He's battling so hard with Stifler, but as long as Stifler doesn't get cast, he's been holding Stifler up so much that Stifler can't catch up to us now. And as long as Leclerc can hold on in 10th place is ours. Amazing stuff. We're going to score a point. I was not expecting that, as Verline crosses the line 11.9 seconds ahead of Rubens Barrichello, who we were talking about doing a potential undercut, as Leclerc has a sniff on that final corner, but he can't get anywhere, and we cross the line for a point. Leclerc's happy, I'm happy, we've got a point. Thank God, because that would have been a disaster if we hadn't scored a point. After Mawson crashing out early, and then with that bad pit stop by us, I didn't think we were going to score points at all, but we ended up doing so. I just don't know what to say. I'm actually relieved. I'm more relieved of that result than I was in the final race of last season. So we do get 10th in the end, and the pole position bonus. There you go. We don't have the fastest lap, we have the pole position bonus, so that's why Malia gets 2 extra points. And that is huge for us, isn't it? Look at that. That's critical for Sauber Motorsport with Winkelhock crashing out. But unfortunately, everyone passed the scrutineering, which is a shame. We didn't see us bump up any further. Charles Leclerc has picked up a point, and we are 9th in the championship. That's where I want to be. 10th, anything above 9th is a waste of time. But we don't want to be 10th. I'm happy with 9th. If we can keep scoring points and MP Motorsport doesn't, I'm happy with that. We will just have a quick look then at the drivers. Let's make sure that they're not having some major negative effects. And fingers crossed for a good season after that result. I've been all over the places. We're really struggling to load here. Come on. Thank you. There you go. So, is everyone happy? Joey Mawson's devastated. He's got 9% morale. Everyone else, we seem to all be climbing quite highly there. Expected result 9th. We came 9th. I'm pretty chuffed. So if you enjoyed that episode, guys, make sure you pop a big thumbs up on there for me. It does a world of good for the channel. And I'll see you in a couple of days for the next race, which I believe is Tondola, Portugal. I'll see you then.